Well, the federal government has ordered the consumer watchdog to look into retail electricity prices amid a spike in power costs. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission will investigate the behaviour of retailers and the contracts they offer customers. Rosemary Sinclair is CEO of Energy Consumers Australia, and she joins me now from Perth. Rosemary, thanks for your time today.
Pleasure, Catherine.
If we can start with the terms of reference being provided to the ACCC under which they are to consider. One of those is the key cost drivers of electricity pricing. Do you think that will be the key element?
It's a very important element, and that takes us into quite a complex task for the ACCC. They have to look at the wholesale energy prices, they have to look at the network costs, and then the retailer's own costs. So even that single terms of reference is a very big task and a very important task for the ACCC.
Contracts that are offered to consumers are also being looked at. Would you agree that they are currently too laden down with jargon and also technical terms for people to really work out what they're being offered and what they're buying?
Consumers are telling us through our surveys that they find this market quite confusing, and the information is very complex, which means that they have difficulty making easy choices in their own best interests. The other thing that concerns us is that there has been a particular approach to the standing offer, and we think that at the moment there needs to be a change to that approach. It means that the most vulnerable households in Australia can be on the most expensive electricity price contracts.
The existence and extent of any barriers in retail markets will also be looked into.
This is a very important issue as well, because we want this market to be as competitive as it possibly can and make the market do much more of the heavy lifting. There's quite a difference in size between the top 3 retailers and the next, what we call tier 2 or tier 3 retailers. We need to make sure that those tier 2 and tier 3 retailers are not at significant disadvantage, because we want them to be there sustainably to put competitive pressure on the bigger retailers.
Do you think there should be more competition in the energy market?
Yes, we would like to see this market freed up and much more dynamic, much more focused on meeting the needs of the consumers than it is at the moment. That consumers are telling us that they don't have confidence in this market. They're seeing less value from energy market than from telecommunications or the internet or banking or insurance. So there's something wrong with the way this market is working, whether it's the way it's designed or just what it is we don't know, which is why it's so important that the ACCC has this broad-ranging terms of reference and can use all its investigative powers in getting to the bottom of all of this.
Did the terms of reference cover off everything you think needs to be in there in order to fix the problem?
Yes, I thought the terms of reference were usefully wide, giving flexibility to the ACCC and plenty of opportunity for industry to explain itself and to provide the information that the ACCC, as the independent reviewer of this market, will need to come to the right outcome to rebuild confidence of consumers in the energy market.
You say that you'd like to see a more free market. How would that look?
I think it would be one where the consumers are actually very easily able to understand their contract, to get access to their data, to be able to compare offers very reasonably, and then make decisions about which retailer they want to go to. I think there are some issues around the discount structure which also make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Do you think the retailers will be on board with this and help with the ACCC's investigation?
I hope they will. We've seen some signs recently from retailers that they are leaning in to support consumers, for example, AGL's very recent measures around vulnerable households. So I think that there is some indication from the retailers themselves that they need to be responding differently to the market that we now have, which of course is a market that's going to be transitioning to new services and lower emissions electricity. So there are some very big challenges ahead of all of us, and it's essential that the retailers come in and support this inquiry with good information and a positive approach.
Finally, before we let you go, Rosemary, the South Australian Senator Nick Xenophon said that another review into power prices is not needed. What's needed is action.
I would disagree slightly with the Senator. I think the fact that the government has asked the ACCC to review power prices is very important. When Rod Sims reviewed the gas market, he said that gas customers were telling him they couldn't get contracts. He reviewed that market, said that was correct, and changed that market. That's what we're looking for this time around as well.
Rosemary Sinclair, CEO of Energy Consumers Australia, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Catherine.